So, hello to everyone. I'm Justin. I work at the Institute for Evidence-Based Healthcare at Bond University on the Gold Coast in Australia. Tiny bit of background about myself, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we'll be doing in the workshop. So, I'm an ex-librarian, was a librarian, health librarian for a very long time. I then transitioned into more of a research role in a research institute, which is where I am. And I took on a lot of research librarian role there and then just moved into doing research in general. So I do a lot of reviews, but I also progressed and moved over and started working on building automation tools to help with reviews. So initially we built tools to help ourselves do our reviews faster. Turned out that a couple of them were quite popular. We put them up on the internet. People started to use them. Usage grew. So then we just started putting all our tools online on the internet for everyone to use. The big one, I guess, for us was the polyglot search translator, which we brought out 8 years ago now, which has driven a lot of our usage, but we have now got a lot of tools. And so we have put them up and made them available both for free, but also you can subscribe, and there's a few little additional benefits if you subscribe. So I'll be talking about how to subscribe and what the benefits are if you do that, and also how to, use all of the tools. So today's session will be focused though on screening studies. And again, I'll talk a little bit about what that is for those of you who don't know. So I always assume, although I know a lot of people come to these workshops, know a lot about doing reviews already and are interested in how the tools can improve their efficiency. I do cover some of the basics just for those who are new to research and new to reviews or new to librarianship. So, but not too much. I think that's about it. I think I already covered questions, but yes, please pop your questions in the chat. And at the end of the session, I'll hang around and I'll answer all the questions, but I can also happily chat to anyone who's still around who wants a bit of a chat at the end as well. Most of this session will be me live demoing the tools. I've got a PowerPoint that I'll run through. It's only 5 slides or something. Then I'll move over and I will start to actually demo the tools live. I'm going to talk through 2 different ways to use the tools, 2 different case studies. The first one I'll be talking about is if you've already got screening tools you like, I don't know, Covidence, Pico Portal, or one of the other 500 tools that seem to be in existence now. The first case study will just be for that. That's just using the tool to do the automatic screening. So you upload something, screen it through our automated screener, download it, put it into your chosen screening tool of choice. Then I'll be doing the second case study where I'll be talking through and showing how all of the tools integrate with each other. So if you just stay in and use our platform for, the review, how you can do that. So 2 case studies. First one will be pretty quick. Second one will be a little longer, but there is some nice integration bonuses that happen if you use our tools to do everything. So I think that's about it. So we'll get going. So we're going to look at automated screening using the Evidence Review Accelerator, or TERA for short. So the Evidence Review Accelerator is what the tool is called. The suite of tools, I should say, or TERA for short. So I'm a research fellow in evidence-based acceleration. I work at the Institute for Evidence-Based Healthcare at Bond University, which is based on the Gold Coast in Australia. Before I get going though, so I run the automation program at Bond, but I wouldn't be here running webinars. There wouldn't be all these cool tools if not for the fantastic computer scientists who I work with, who do most of the actual heavy lifting, most of the work to bring these tools to life. And I always like to make sure they get the credit and kudos that they really deserve. So Matt and I have been working together for a very long time on these tools. We started working on them together 11 years ago now. Connor came on board, a very talented young man who built a lot of our tools as well. He was been with us for about 6 or 7 years now. He just got poached by an AI company for a substantial amount of money, so good for him. Tian's been with us for 4 years now. So she's also built a lot of these tools, of course. And Irene is quite new, only with us for 2 years, but also very talented. So I just like to show their faces and put them up because to say these are the people who actually do all of the real hard work of bringing ideas for tools into life and building all of these tools. Systematic reviews. So we'll be talking about one task in the systematic reviews today, which is screening, but there are 6 tasks overall you need to do a review. You need to write a protocol. So protocol is a sort of recipe of what you're going to do your review. So you write the protocol of what you're going to do, questions you're going to answer, types of studies you're going to import and select. Then you've got to find some studies. So this is searching databases generally, going off searching PubMed or Embase or Cochrane Central, collating those studies and deduplicating them. Selecting studies, which is where you manually screen them. So 2 people generally manually screen in duplicate, compare their results, and see what's included and what's excluded. Extract and assess the study data. So that's where you pull out the data you want to answer your review question, and you assess the quality of those studies to see if those studies were good or free of risk of bias generally. Synthesize the study data. So that's where you get the data and you kind of combine it all together, either in a meta-analysis or narratively by describing it, to try to answer the question that you've put forward with your review. And then, of course, you've got to write your review. So write your introduction, method section, results, etc. And then hope, fingers crossed, publish it. So they're this kind of 6 broad steps or tasks you have to do a review. We're focusing on this one, so selecting studies. So I'll be talking through the tools we'll use today are primarily for title and abstract screening only. We don't really support full text screening because we're a bit concerned about uploading PDFs and storing PDFs that publishers own the copyright to primarily. But it's just important to note that the tools we're looking at are primarily used for the title and abstract screening component of doing a review. So normally when you do a review, you'll screen initially the search results by title and abstract, decide what's in and out, and then you go through and do the full text screening, which is where you upload, find the PDFs, read the PDFs, and then during the full text screening process, decide whether it's actually a real include or whether you then exclude it. All right, so that's it for the intro slide. So accessing MechaScreener. So the MechaScreener tool is the one that we'll be using, primarily looking at today. It's available on the Evidence Review Accelerator platform. The web link is tera-tools.com. It's a URL. You can also just Google TERA tools and it will hopefully be the very first one you find. So MechaScreener is down on the left. This slide is out of date because MechaScreener is no longer in beta mode. We've taken it out of beta mode and moved it to full production mode. That just means that we're very confident in the results and very confident that it's safe to use. And this is what it looks like. This is mainly here in case my internet broke and nothing worked, because then it would have been a real boring and short session. But fortunately, everything's working. So all you do is, well, we're going to be doing it live, so I'll skip past that bit. I think that's it. So the first example I'm going to go through, or the first case study, is what you do if you just want to use the automated screener and want to do your actual manual screening somewhere else. You upload a file into TERA. You then enter the inclusion criteria you want to use to screen with. You then run the MechaScreener. You download the to-screen file. Then you can import that XML file or that file you download into whichever screening tool you prefer. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to screen studies for blue light treatment of blue light phototherapy to treat acne vulgaris. So this is my review topic. I've already done the searchings and deduplicated, so I've got a set ready to go. And my population or my PICO criteria, or PICOT criteria, I guess, is I want any studies where people had acne, people were then treated with blue light phototherapy. I was interested to see if there was a reduction in severity of acne, and this is an intervention review, so I'm only looking for randomized trials. So there's lots and lots of ways to get studies into TERA and then into the screening tool. You can upload NBIB files from PubMed. You can upload .cgi files, CINAHL files. I can never remember what they're called. Pretty much if you can export a list of references any file type, RIS files or XML files from EndNote. I'm just going to export and import these XML files from EndNote. So I've already, collated these, put them in, and deduped, although missed that one. So first thing I do is I need to export these files out of EndNote and I need to get them into TERA. I'll just put them in my downloads file folder. So to get them out of EndNote, although we do support this RIS formatting, I always export and use XML formatting because it's the easiest one for the computer program to kind of analyze and assess and upload. So I'll save this XML file on my computer. Then I'll come back to TERA. Sure. So this is TERA, the Evidence Review Accelerator. Um, Before I upload it and start using the MechaScreener, I'll just very quickly cover a couple of things. So we've got a couple of getting started videos. They're very short. They're very useful just for creating projects, teaching how to create projects and teaching how to manage some files. Anyway, we got a LinkedIn group. If you get interested and want to sign up, there's a few tips and tricks we put in there. But primarily, I'm just going to talk about the account types, the free and becoming a TERA member. So with the free account, you can create and run one project at a time, and I'll show creating projects in a bit. You can also screen for free 1,000 records per month in our MechaScreener tool. If you become a TERA member, it costs you 10 Australian dollars a month, which I don't know how that equates to US, probably about $7, I think, at the moment, maybe, 7 US. Or you can become a member for 100 Australian dollars a year. If you become a member, you can create and run as many projects as you like. You can also screen up to 10,000 records a month in the MechaScreener. So it's useful. We did want to provide a bit of free access for people so they can test it out. But if you really want to be screening large numbers of records, you have to become a TERA member. And we do now have institutional membership. So if after this you think your institute might be interested, send me an email, or you can email the team at TERA Tools, and we can have a chat about institutional membership, what that costs and what that means. All right, so I'm going to get a file. So I'm going to get that XML file I just downloaded about blue light, and I'm going to import it into the MechaScreener now. So I'll go down to my MechaScreener tool. There's a big white box. Sorry, there's a big white box. All the tools very similar. They have this big white box which says click here to upload your file. So I will upload that file down here. This will then upload it, process it, and identify it as a bunch of references, wherever that was. So 581 references. So I'll load that in. 581 references loaded. I'll hit continue. So we disable automated screening. So if you want to enable it, by default, I should say, if you want to enable it, just click enable. It will then enable it. So this now will activate and enable the automatic screener. I have 8,422 credits left because I'm a TERA member. So the way credits work is 1 credit equals 1 screened reference. So I'm going to screen 551 studies, so I'm going to use 551 credits, leaving me with just under 8,000 to go. This will slowly recharge throughout the month, back up to 10,000 by the end of the month. I'm going to use, there are 30 references that I've uploaded that don't have abstracts with them. So they won't be screened and they don't cost you credit. If something doesn't have an abstract, we can't really process it. The large language model we use, or any large language model, can't really do much with just a title. So if it doesn't have an abstract, it is automatically flagged as something for human review. I'll use my PCOT criteria as input criteria, and I'll just fill this out. I'll just grab people with acne, and then my intervention, people treated with blue light phototherapy. I'm not using a comparator. It's a good idea to not use a comparator in almost anything, not just searching, but also screening here. So I'll skip comparator, leave that blank. I'll put in my outcome, and I want randomized trials. This is my type of study. So I'll click randomized trials. There is the option to, if you really want, you can put in exclusion criteria. We don't recommend you use exclusion criteria. Um, but if you toggle that box, it does give you the option to put some in. Um, but the large language models don't do well with exclusion. They do pretty well with inclusion criteria, but not so well with exclusion. So we recommend not using it. But you know, you're very welcome to if you want to test it out and try it. Then I'll hit continue. Just gives you an overview of what you put in, and then hit finish. So this will then send these 581 references off, to the large language model we use. That model will process them. It will then flag them and give them a rating out of likelihood that they are includes. That rating will be from 1 to 5, with 5 being very likely that it's an included study, should be an included study. 1 meaning very unlikely it's includable or eligible, so it should probably be rejected. I did think about putting in a little smaller library because I know everyone loves watching bars slowly crawl across the screen on the internet, but it doesn't really have the same impact if I only put in like 100. So I did test the timing, and it felt like it was about the right amount of timing that people can just put up with if I do 581. But this is generally the speed it will run at. So, it's pretty quick to do 580. If you've got 5,000, you're probably going to want to bang them in, go make a cup of coffee, watch a funny cat video on the internet, come back, and then it should be done. All right, so it's finished screening. So what it will do is, to say, it will give it a score from 1 to 5, 5 being very likely that it should be included, and then 1 is exclude. So if it scores 1 out of 5, we flag it as an excluded study, and we say, do not look at these, do not screen these. These are very safe to exclude. If it goes into the 2 screen pool, so it gets a 5, 2, 3, 4, or 5, we suggest, that humans should review these, and these are the ones now that humans should review. With this set, it's got 275 to screen, 306 to exclude. This is the sort of numbers that we actually often see. This is about right. It's normally about that's not quite 60, 55%. So there's normally a 55 to 65% workload saving if you use this. So you put them in, you put in your criteria, and it will generally remove about, and I'll show you some stats at the very end of the session, generally will exclude about half of them safely. And to say, we've done evaluations, and I'm going to show you the numbers at the end, and it is very safe. So if anything's here, we've never found yet that an included study is excluded. So I'll go to screen, and I'll just open up my EndNote library. So this, I pulled out the includes beforehand. So these are the 10 included studies for our blue light review. And I did test this yesterday. Those 10 are in these 275. Now you still need to screen out all the rest, the 265, but a 50% workload saving is pretty good. So the next thing is I'm going to get these, I'm going to pull them out, and I'm going to download them. So I'm going to go save screen references. Now I don't have any includes yet because I'm going to go off, I'm going to use a different tool. So I'm just going to go save. And we'll give it a name. I might call this to screen blue light. All right, so they're now saved. So they're saved in my project. So they're saved in my project files list. So now to get them out and put them somewhere else, I go to project files. I find to screen blue light. So that's these ones. There's a couple of ways to download them. You can tick it and hit download, or next to each one, there's also three little dots. If you click little dots, you go download. This will then download that XML file, which I think should now be in my downloads folder. Yep. So, you know, uh, I'll just put them back into EndNote. So they're now in EndNote. If you want to screen an EndNote, of course, you can put them in a Covenants, Pico Portal, Rayan, or any of the other tools that you like. Finish the manual screening in that tool. So that's how to use the MechaScreener to just screen some studies if you're going to go off and use a different platform to finish and do the manual screening in. I do have another one though. So this one I go from start to finish. So this is balneotherapy for people with chronic venous insufficiency, which is my next topic. So the next one is using kind of all the tools in combination to do your screening. So that is uh, putting in the writing the protocol with the review wizard. We won't do all of it, but a little bit of it. And then also using the MechaScreener to pre-screen, but then also finish screening in the MechaScreener tool as well. So doing the manual screening in the MechaScreener. So I'll open up my balneotherapy review. So first things first though, I'm going to go off to my projects. So I've got a create project button here in my top right corner because I'm a member. If you're not a member, after you create your first project, this create new project button disappears. So you can only create one project. Saying that, if you've got the free account, you can join as many projects as you like. So you can join 100 projects as a member of that project or as a team member. You just can't create any more projects unless you become a TERA member. So first things first, I'll create a project. So I'll call it balneotherapy for chronic venous insufficiency. Project type defaults systematic review, but if you're doing scoping reviews or other types of reviews, you can pick one of those. We also have a few tools set with randomized trials as well, but I'm just going to stick to systematic review and then go create. So that's creating a new project. I'll just give it a short name. Uh, So all these projects, this is not really part of the workshop, but maybe worth mentioning. All these projects kind of work a bit like a Google Doc. You can invite people in to join your project. They can then do work and screen and help write the protocol and use all of the tools and the files. Um, so if you want someone to join your project, you just send them an email. And then send him an invite. So then Matt will get an invite. It's an email link that says click this, and then he'll join project. If you're the person who created the project, you got the crown. You can delete your project if you go up here and hit delete and then type delete into this box, that'll delete it. Also, if you've got the crown, you can kick people out if you like. So I'll just get rid of Matt because he took too long to reply. But you can only kick people out of a project if you created it. So if you've got the crown on, you can kick people out. So I'm now going to just go down to our review wizard. So the review wizard is a really cool tool. I'm not going to talk about it today too much to help you write and design the protocol for your review and also write some method section for your manuscript. But I'm going to add in the eligibility criteria for my review. because you can then use whatever's in here to populate the pico criteria in the MechaScreener tool. So people with venous insufficiency is my population. Patients treated with balneotherapy is my intervention. Our outcomes I'm looking for are all of these. So I'll put these in my outcomes. Setting is fine, and I'll just click randomized trials. Oop. So that's just filling this out, and I'm only filling it out so that I can auto import it into the MechaScreener. So then I'll go down to my MechaScreener tool. I'll just close this one. Oh. And so I'll just save these changes. So up the top, you'll see there's unsaved changes. This will auto save your work every 15 minutes, but I'm just going to Control S, and it will save my current state. So I need to get a bunch of references into the MechaScreener. So I'll go back to my balneotherapy EndNote library. So I'll grab these 338 references. So I'll upload them. Put them in. I'll go continue. Enable automated screening. So 327, 11 don't have abstracts. So instead of typing it all out, I'll just pull them in from my review wizard, which I filled out earlier. It won't pull in type of study though. You still need to tick the box for type of study. Hit continue. Finish again. 338 should be a bit quicker than, well, obviously 580. So while I'm waiting for that to process, I'm going to just get out the includes because I'll need these to show you the second part, which is where you resolve disputes between reviewers. So I've got the included, so these 9 included studies. Put in my downloads, balneotherapy. I'll call these include screener 2. Cool. All right. Whoa. Okay, that was pretty good. Actually, I knew it was pretty good because I did this one again yesterday. So we've got here include to screen, or sorry, to screen 91, exclude 247. So I'm not going to look at those. I'll just ignore them. So I've got to screen these 91. So I'm going to screen these just here directly in the MechaScreener tool. So we've got screening set up so that a lot of it is hotkey oriented, so that if you press a button on your keyboard, it'll automatically include or exclude. So uh, if I just press the left key or the number 1 button, it will include. And I might go down the bottom of the list, grab one of these number 2s, or a space bar. Oh, that's number 1, sorry. That will automatically exclude. The other good thing is you can also bulk select. So I'm going to assume these are all the ones missing abstract. So if I hold down Shift, it will multi-select everything. So normal buttons for multi-selecting in every tool or every program there is. So hold down Shift, will batch select. If you hold down Control, you can select a few at a time. which can be very handy if you just trust the machine and you just want to automatically exclude all of the number twos. You can actually do that very simply and very easily. Not that I suggest you do that until you trust the tool a bit more, or at least have a quick look at them, but you can do that. So you got to include, exclude group. If you want to set up a new group, you can go new custom group, and then if you click on the edit button next to it, you can give it a name. Sometimes you might find something that's good for your introduction section, for instance, but is not includable. So you might go introduction, and I'll use I as my hotkey, and you can change the color as well. Actually, a lovely gold seems pretty good. And then you can save it. And now I've got a new custom group. If I press I, that'll go into my introduction custom group. You can save screen references, which I'll already showed, but I'll also show it again in a sec. You can back up screening progress. So if I hit Control S, this is saving it as we go, so it should be fine. But if you do want to back it up, so if you are actually going to log off and go away for the day, so hitting Control S is fine, just as you're going through screening. But if you're going to shut down, come back tomorrow and do it, we recommend hitting backup. This will then create a backup of the file stored in our system, so you can retrieve it for whatever reason. So now it's all backed up and saved. As you go through and screen, sometimes just screening by the title is fine, but often, you've got to look at the abstract. So A hotkey will show the abstract. We also give you the DOI down here as well, which you can go and look at the full text. If you put that if you copy and paste that into Google, it should take you to the full text of the article. So that's A to hide and show abstracts. If you just want to watch them all, you can go show all, and it will show all the abstracts. And then hide all abstracts will hide them all again. Configure hotkeys if you don't like the hotkeys we've decided. So include is 1 and arrow left, exclude is 2 and space. Maybe you want include, you want Y for yes. And then exclude, maybe you want N for no, for instance. So you can configure everything as much as you like. Configure keyword highlighting. So we've got keyword highlighting. So to do keyword highlighting, you just type the word in. So if you type in balneotherapy, spell it properly, you can add it and exclude. Maybe you don't want case studies. So I'll just put in case for case studies. So therefore, any type, okay. I don't want balneotherapy. So done. And then anytime balneotherapy pops up, you can see that it's, well, sort of see it's highlighted green. I don't know if I've got case studies in here anywhere. So that's configure keyword highlighting. So you can put in as many keywords as you like. And then finally, we've got search. So this can be quite useful to search. So quite often, maybe if you want to search for case studies to auto exclude them, you can put in case studies. I don't know if I've got any. And then hit search, and it will search for anywhere case study appears. So I've got one here. So it'll be down in here. So adequate case numbers. So that'll be highlighted red because case studies was one of my exclude keywords. But you can then also search for it. So I might actually exclude that one. So in save as well, so we default it to, so if you click the little settings button, search settings, we default it to searching the title, the abstract, and the keywords for you. But you can search any of the fields that we upload here. So you can search for authors, DOIs, whatever. But generally, title, abstract, keywords are the ones you want to search. But maybe you're just interested in titles. So if you untick those two, you can then just search for where balneo therapy is just in the title, and these are the 6 where balnear therapy is in the title. Can be very useful to screen, find these ones where balnear therapy is in the title and screen them. So that's pretty much all the screenings. So when you finish screening, you're going to have to compare these screening results with your co-screeners results. So I'm just going to put a couple in the excludes. Actually, I'm just going to put the 5s in the include, sorry, and then anything 4 or less. Don't do this for real, by the way. Um, anything in the 4s is probably worth checking, and then I'll exclude the rest. So I've got 8 includes now. So I've got 8 includes. So my co-screener has also got some includes. So I need to now test these to see if we agree. So to do that, I need to save these. So I need to save these includes. So save screen references. Includes is green, so I'll save them. Screen include JC, so it'll give it a file name. So JC are my initials. So I'll save that. Done. All right, so now I'm going to upload screening decisions from my co-screener, which were the screener 2. Cool. So now I've got 2 sets of include decisions. I've got mine, which is 8, and my co-screener, who's got 9. To compare those 2 files and see where we agree and disagree, we then go down to the Disputatron tool, where we resolve or hopefully resolve our disputes. First thing, you don't need to, but it can be quite handy. 338. So we screened 338 articles. Viewer 1 was me. And I'll say reviewer 2, I'll say Matt was my co-reviewer, and I'll put his in here. And then submit. This will compare those 2 files. It'll give you numbers, so of Cohen's kappa coefficient, Pabak coefficient, but it's also got percentage of article agreement. So we agreed 98% of the time, which is pretty good. So we agreed 5 on the includes, agreed 326 on the excludes. We disagreed 7 times. So the disagreements will be here if you want to see all of them. So if I click that and toggle that, these are the ones where we agreed with each other. We hide them by default, but you can always review them. I just want to look at the conflicts. So these are the conflicts where we disagreed. This was included by me. This was included by Matt. So you just have to go through, and you can show in hide abstract. You go through and go, okay, so I included this, but you know what? I actually think I'm wrong. I'm going to leave that exclude. I'll look at this one. This one actually looks good. This was included by Matt. So we're going to include that one. This one too, include this one. And this one, mine looks okay. So we'll include this one, take it through and check the full text. This one as well. And this one we will also include. Actually, we'll exclude that one. Then I go save the included articles. Disputes includes. This is now ready for full text screening. Done. So then if I go to my project files, these 10 references, so these are the 10 references now ready for full text screening. So that's pretty much screening using the MechaScreener and the Disputatron tool to resolve disputes, ready for full text screening. I know we're almost bang on time. I'm just going to go through the numbers. It will take about 3 minutes for me just to talk through now the evaluations that we've done on these tools. And I'll just show you performance across multiple reviews. So this is a presentation that I did for JBI colloquium in India last year, which is, it looks neat, but can you trust it? So We've evaluated this now on 15 published reviews. We evaluated it on a range of reviews. Some intervention reviews with just RCTs, but we've also done non-intervention reviews, and we've got various types of reviews with various types of included studies. So some actual reviews of reviews, so systematic reviews was the included study type, some on prevalence and prevention as well. Probably most importantly, though, because people talk about this as the reason why their large language models don't screen well is that it's the user's fault and they don't put in good eligibility criteria, and you need to be a big expert. We tested that as well. So we had 3 different people come up with the prompting or eligibility criteria across these 15 reviews. One was a novice reviewer, so it was Connor. He's only done, although very good computer scientist, very clever guy, he'd only done 1 review before in his life. We also had a PhD student. She also very, pretty good, but had only done a couple of reviews before. She built the prompts for 5 of the reviews, and then I did 5 as well. So we did 5 each. These are the reviews that we evaluated. So antibiotic prescribing for acute infections in telehealth, COVID-19. I'm not going to go through the full list, but mapping evidence, all the way down to diabetes as a risk factor for TB. So it's quite a broad range of different reviews across lots of different topics. I just got 2 prompts. So these are the actual prompts we used. So these are the prompts that went in to the evaluation that we put in. So this was for topical steroids. So you can see the prompts are nothing special. The prompts are not really highly refined. They're not, anything that any competent reviewer just wouldn't put in. So this one is just children with otitis media with effusion, which was our population, people given steroid therapy, our outcomes, adverse effects, quality of live hearing, and then we're looking for randomized trials. The next one was falls prevention in older people. Again, patients over 45 years, our interventions, I think there were 4 interventions in this review. So exercise, safety, education, nutrition therapy, or just falls prevention in general. Compared it, we actually put the comparator in for this one. And again, incidence of falls and then randomized trials. But we're also looking for step wedge designs, whatever they are, and also non-RCTs actually as well. So we're looking for almost anything. And yes, this is the important slide. So this is, okay, so these are the actual outputs or outcomes for running the MechaScreener across all 15 of these reviews. Included study types, you can see RCTs for a bunch of them, reviews for 1, and then non-RCTs for 5. The important numbers, and I forgot to change this, that should say specificity. But the important numbers are recall. So recall is after you put it through the MechaScreener, how many of the included studies were removed by the MechaScreener. And so that's 100% means, well, how many were included, I should say, sorry. So 100% of the included studies were included by the MechaScreener tool after we used it. Sensitivity, which should be specificity, is how many of the excluded studies or ineligible studies were correctly excluded by the MechaScreener. It ranges from, so basically that's workload saving. So screening workload saving for each of these different reviews. It ranges, one, we didn't, although COVID for schools, we still included everything. There was only a 20% workload saving, but for some of them, so balneotherapy, for instance, is an 81% workload saving. Phosphodiesterase was a 91% workload saving. So massive workload savings in some, but even the ones where, it was not as high, there's still a good 40, 50% workload saving, which when you factor in that for one person to screen 100 studies normally takes about an hour, there's a substantial amount of work. Even just for that quick one, blue light, where I dropped 300, that's 3 hours work that someone doesn't have to do. And you dual screen, so that's 3 hours work 2 people don't have to do. So that is the means. So 100% mean, always safe no matter what. So you can always trust it. On average, it's a 62% workload saving if you run stuff through the MechaScreener first before manual screening. We also wanted to see what happened if we were auto excluded not just the ones, but if anything scored a 1 or scored a 2, these were the results. So this is why we don't auto exclude 1s and 2s, but it's pretty safe. You can screen anything that scores a 2, you can screen them pretty quickly. So there is a recall on average was 96%, which is still pretty good. On average, a workload saving of 85%. So still does very well on those. But it's just not perfect. So therefore, we don't use it. We are only interested in using things where it's 100% safe. So that's why we restrict it to just automatically excluding anything that scores a 1. And that's it. So thank you for coming. Hopefully that was helpful or interesting. And hopefully if you want to try it out, you can sign up for free. You can screen 1,000 studies for free. And that's it. So I'm now going to go through, answer any questions that popped up. But there's no more workshop or no more webinar. I'm just answering questions from here. So if you want to go to bed, feel free. Zen, good morning. So Laurel has asked, can any other question frameworks be used or just Pico? At the moment, we've only got Pico frameworks in place. I just close this. Yeah, so at the moment, we've only really got the Pico framework in place, unfortunately. We are hoping to put in a couple of the others. So frameworks which helpful for scoping reviews, for instance. But yeah, I mean, you can still use it. Most review questions, even scoping reviews and broader ones, kind of fit into the Pico framework. But yeah, at some point we will add in, oh, I can't remember what the scoping review framework's called, PPSSD or something. But we are going to add in another framework at some point to kind of cover that. Uh, Catherine's asked, how can you use Picot criteria from methods if you've already populated this? Yes. So that's basically if you fill out your review wizard, the method section, Picot in your review wizard. I know I did it, but you can just bang this button in and it'll just populate it again. So one reason why I really enjoy filling out that review wizard and using it, is because I use this not just for database searching, but when I do my citation searching, and maybe if I do an update later, it's only 30 seconds to fill these out, but it's quite nice just to be able to press this button and auto-populate that criteria from your review wizard. So Claire's asked, is the LLM something trained locally by TERA or does it phone home to OpenAI, Microsoft, or wherever? Excellent question, Claire. It is someone else's. Well, I guess I'm sitting in a one-bedroom unit on the Gold Coast. If I could afford to train large language models myself, I'd be sitting in a mansion by the ocean, put it that way. So, we were looking at trying to at least tweak someone else's to try to improve it, but even that is quite expensive. So we unfortunately don't have the funding to train and improve large language models. But saying that, we actually set up that an evaluation workflow or pipeline, and we did evaluate. Initially, we evaluated the screener across 10 different large language models that people have, and we found the best one, and we used that. So we do know which ones perform best. Some of them are really bad at it, by the way. And every now and then, because the next generations keep coming, every now and then we do test it again against new generations as they come out to see if there's a better one out there. So far, the older ones seem to be better at screening studies, believe it or not, than all of the newer generation ones that come out. But we do keep an eye on things, and we do test it against new large language models that come out. But yeah, currently we are using someone else's. So we send it off via Open Router to a large language model that we've picked because we know that it's very good at doing screening. So Laurel's asked, so for the AI exclude, would you have one human screen them versus two or no human at all? Us, so for us, we have no human screen them. We just delete them and never look at them. So we don't even do dual screening on them. So we just have one person use MechaScreener, automatically exclude all those. Then we get whatever's left in the two screen pool and we split them up, or we give them to manual screeners to do. So we don't have any human involvement, we just automatically remove them. Saying that, we have tested it ourselves a lot, not just on those 15 I've showed you, like I've done it on other reviews that we've done. And initially, we did quickly skim through those excludes. We actually also have a visiting scholar from Germany with us now. She just used it for her review that she's doing with us. She also quickly skimmed through those excludes and couldn't find anything even vaguely relevant. So we don't, and we just automatically delete them. But first time you use it, or first time if it's us or anyone at all, I always recommend having a quick look and quick check because you shouldn't trust anyone out in this world, out selling tools, by the way. So I would probably, the first time I use it, I would probably have a quick skim, but to say, we still haven't found any reviews or any review topics where it removed an included study at all. So still seems to be 100% safe. Is there a publication to go along with the numbers on what's safe to exclude versus human reviewers or a planned publication? Claire again. Great question. Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot to I forgot to show that. Let me think. So I'm going to go down to the Cite Us page down here. Oh, I won't actually. I'm going to clear that. I'll just upload a tiny one. That one. So, and I'll show it on the side art as well. So we actually have submitted this preprint. So we have it up as a preprint at the moment, but we have submitted it to research synthesis methods. So we have submitted it for publication. And I think the preprint is called MechaScreener and it's in archive-X. So PDF. So yeah, so this is, what we've submitted and it's got all the numbers and stats and whatever. So you can go and read the preprint. Fingers crossed Research Synthesis Methods likes it. And, after review, of course, we can publish there. Otherwise, we'll try to publish somewhere else, of course. But yes, we do have a preprint up with all these numbers and all our methods and, calcs and everything else in there. It is also on the Cite Us page. So if you do use the tool and you do want something to cite, on the Cite Us page, there is automated screening. So we do give you a little, tips on how to maybe write a little bit in your method section about what you did. But yes, on the Cite Us page, there is automated screening and then the link directly to the preprint as well. So when that fingers crossed, if that gets published, sorry, we will change this from the preprint to the published version. Oh, sorry, Claire, I see you found it. So the included studies are your key articles that you want to find in the results. Yeah. So, well, normally you don't start with your included studies. I mean, I did. But yeah, so the included studies are always the key articles, and those, as I say, every single review we've tested it on. I did a review on search methods, for instance, on how to best methods to use when searching. It worked perfectly for that. It found all of those. We did a systematic review on generative AI use in systematic reviews. Again, it worked fine on that as well. So it seems it works fine on almost any topic as well, across topics, not just in health. Remy's asked, can two reviewers manual screen the same project using MechaScreener? Yes, they can. So when you go to MechaScreener and you screen, um, your MechaScreener screening instance looks different from anyone else's. So a lot of the tools share projects. Everyone's working on the same tool together. The screening tools like MechaScreener um, are individual and are based on user instances. So yes, you can screen completely independently, and the other person is screening completely separately from them. Then Laura's asked, will you be sharing the recording with us? Yes. I'm going to stop recording now, and I will then share this with everyone.